Tony's Tractor Adventure.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. We are going to talk about how to buy a tractor grapple for a 30 horsepower or less tractor. You guys come on. As you've seen in some of my previous videos, I'm a grapple rookie. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm a pro, but I have been around tractors a long time, and I'm kind of gonna take you through the steps that I took to figure out what is the right grapple for my tractor. I also want to give a big shout out to Kevin at worksavers.com. This is a worksaver grapple, and I called and talked with Kevin, and he kind of run me through a lot of stuff that you need to think about when you're buying a grapple. So let's get started. Let's talk about what a grapple is used for. It's used for like grabbing timbers, logs, moving brush, cleaning debris, moving rocks. It's basically adding a thumb to your tractor so you can reach out and pick something up. There are many brands and many makes, but there's two main types. You got the clamshell type rake, like what this is, and you also have what they call a fork type with the clamps on the top. The fork type grapple has basically like these tines, but they stick way out to the front, and you can push it up under brush, and then they'll have one or two clamps that clamp down either the one single or independently for bigger different types of loads. You also, because it sticks out flat at the bottom, you can use that flat portion kind of like a forklift where you can like place boards and timbers and stuff up and carry it around and use it like a forklift. The drawback to the fork type grapple is that it's heavy. All of the weight is much further forward of the tractor, which gives it a lot more leverage. So in addition to it just being a heavier attachment, it's also much further out in front of the tractor, which reduces the capability of your tractor. The one thing that all small tractors have, no matter what the brand is the lift capacity of the loader. If it is a subcompact or a compact utility tractor, you're going to be limited in the smaller ranges of tractors. I've watched several videos on YouTube, and I've got some friends who have went out and bought grapples, and they bought the fork type because it looks really cool. But what they ended up doing was getting a grapple that weighs 400, 500, 600 pounds, but their tractor will only lift about 1,000 pounds. So in the end, they end up having basically, 400 pounds of load capacity to lift. That's not even a good sized log. It's not really important that your grapple will pick up 2,000 pounds. Like when you go to buy one, you'll see in the specifications of the grapple, it'll pick up this many pounds. It can do this or it can do that. It really doesn't matter how much the grapple can do if your tractor can't. It's all about working weight. So let's go ahead and talk about that. We're talking about working weight. This tractor has a capacity of almost 1,400 pounds, so we'll just use that number. This grapple weighs 359 pounds, so we'll just round that up to 400, and that's going to leave us with basically 1,000 pound working rate. If you want to be on the safe side, subtract another 100 pounds and say my safe working weight is 900 pounds. That means I can go out and pick up a 900 pound log and it be okay. I know the tractors will do better, but always keep that in the back of the mind. We do sometimes, I know we all do it, we will push our equipment beyond what its rated capability is. I'm not condoning that, but if you know in the back of your mind your safe working weight is 900 pounds, then you've got, you know that little fudge margin. Ballast is also an important subject when you're talking about grapple and basically anything with a loader. A loader would generally only pick up a limited amount because of the cubic inches that it holds. However, a grapple can pick up a lot of weight, and you can often overload the capacity of the tractor. So ballast is king too. The heavier that you can make the rear of the tractor, the less stress you're putting on the front of the axle. Basically, you want this to be the pivot point of the tractor. I'll put a link in the video where we filled the back of these tires with fluid. That's a key point, and that really helps. Also, you want to put the heaviest implement you have, and right now the heaviest implement I have is my tiller. It's a 60-inch tiller. I think it weighs somewhere along over almost 600 pounds. It's a pretty heavy tiller. But what you have happen then is the tiller is wide. So you have the weight out, but when you get in a situation where the tractor is leaning, that weight makes the tractor want to lean further. And I don't know if I can keep doing this. Hey, but it does. It makes your tractor want to lean further. What I'm going to do here in the future is I'm going to either buy me a ballast box or I'm going to make me a ballast box. There's a ballast box right now that weighs, it's about 140 pounds by itself, and then you can fill it with concrete, and then it's going to weigh right at 900 pounds. Why that's so good is because you take that weight and you snuggle it up against the tractor on the 3-point hitch, and it's centered, and you can put it low on the 3-point hitch, so your center of gravity is lower, so you have all that weight back here. So with the tires loaded and then 900 pounds of ballast on it, we're adding basically an extra 1,500 pounds of weight to the back of this tractor. We're going to talk about the clamshell type grapple or the Rake grapple, because I think it's a better match for your smaller tractors. There are many brands of grapples out there, and there's a lot of good brands out there, but we've grown to really trust WorkSaver products. If you guys look back at some of our other videos where we've used the WorkSaver's forks, we've really been pleased with those, so it was naturally the first place we looked for a grapple. When we originally started out our quest for a grapple, we had 2 tractors and we had a 40 horsepower tractor. So that's kind of what we bought it for. This grapple weighs about 359 pounds. Rufus the Red TYM, he can pick up this grapple and use it well. But if I had it to do over again, now knowing that I'm going to have this tractor that's taking the place of 2 tractors, I would probably went with the lighter version. So I'll show you some pictures of those in this video. Let's talk a little bit about this Rake type grapple, or the clamshell Rake type grapple. It's got a curve tine here, and this tine will allow you to rotate it backwards like it is right now. It's sitting all the way back, so you can actually kind of skid the grapple across the top of the ground and just pick up loose stuff. Or you can rotate it forward and use it as a rake to break roots. The further you rotate it forward, the more aggressive it gets and how it wants to dig. So you can kind of feather it to your needs. This clamshell rake is another thing I think it does a little bit better than the fork type, is you can rotate the head of the grapple down and then pick up stuff straight up and down. This is going to be really, really important when we start picking up logs and setting it on the sawmill. As I said before, this tractor does really well with this grapple, but it's 60 inches wide. It's wider than the tractor stand. And that's not really important in a grapple. You really just need lightweight, strong to pick up stuff in the center. Whether it goes past the wheels, generally doesn't matter on a grapple. Let's talk a little bit about this grapple and why it's a little bit overbuilt for this tractor. Each one of the tines are 5/8 inch thick steel. The smaller subcompact version they have is only a 1/2 inch thick. And that really doesn't matter because the tractor is not big enough to tear up the 1/2 inch steel tines. Now, for example, if you go get a 60 horsepower tractor and you put their subcompact grapple on it, if you dig at an angle, you're going to bend it because it's just not made for that big of the tractor. However, for their subcompact / compact grapple, these tractors are not big enough to tear them up. There's no reason for them to be built that heavy, and the fact that they're built with a little bit thinner metal means that you save weight and therefore can pick up more weight. Look, in hindsight, if we would have went with the subcompact grapple, we could have gained about 200 pounds, almost 200 pounds of extra lift capacity on this particular tractor. But we have this one, it works, and it works well, and it meets our needs, so we're probably not going to switch it out. I'm sorry this video is kind of drawn out, but I think it's really good information. It's very important to match the grapple to the size tractor you have. It's very important to base the grapple on what your needs are and not how cool it looks. WorkSavers makes a grapple for just about every type of piece of equipment, whether it be skid steer tractors, subcompact tractors, even the mini skid steers. So they have a grapple to fit everything from a 25 horsepower subcompact all the way up to a 150 horsepower tractor. So I will leave a link in the bottom of below the video in the description, And that way, if you're interested, you can go there and research their grapples. I do wholeheartedly tell you that this thing is built amazingly well. It's CNC built. The welds are perfect. It's a great product. If you like this type content, give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the little bell. That little bell notification will let you know when we put out something new. God bless and have a great day.